Hello Suryo, I will explain Lewis dot structure. You see, the atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1. So it has 1 electron, and that is your valence electron. So hydrogen in terms of Lewis structure, can be shown H dot. In case of carbon, the atomic number is 6, so it has 6 electrons, and those 6 electrons can be written as 2 4. There are 4 valence electrons, so this carbon with 4 valence electrons can be shown as shown over here. You see, 4 dots means 4 valence electrons. These 2 electrons are not written. Let us draw a simple structure of H2 molecule. You know, each H has 1 electron, and these 2 H atoms will form H2. How? You see, this H with this dot will be written like this, and this H with this dot will be written like this. In some books it is also written like this. You see, so here H has 2 electrons and this H has 2 electrons. They attain the configuration of nearest inert gas, that is helium. This hydrogen also attains the configuration of helium. Next, HCl. You see, the atomic number of H is 1 and the atomic number of chlorine is 17. It has 1 valence electron, and this chlorine has 7 valence electrons. And H and Cl can be drawn as shown on the screen. H dot means H has 1 valence electron. This electron is written as 1 dot. And this chlorine has 7 valence electrons, can be drawn as shown. You see, now you see, this H needs another electron to attain the configuration of helium, nearest inert gas. And this chlorine has 7 electrons. With this electron, it also attains the configuration of argon, nearest inert gas. Chlorine has 17 electrons, and when it accepts this electron, it becomes 18. That is the configuration of argon. Now this is the structure of HCl, and you can say this is Lewis dot structure, or you can write like this. You see, H has 1 electron, and this chlorine has 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. You can write like this also. You see, H 1 electron, Cl has 7 electrons, so H attains duplet, chlorine attains octet, it attains the configuration of helium, chlorine attains the configuration of argon. Next, in case of O2, you see there are 2 oxygen atoms, and you know the atomic number of oxygen is 8 and it has 6 valence electrons. We are interested in valence electrons because in Lewis dot structure, valence electrons take active part, or we consider valence electrons for Lewis dot structure. You see, oxygen has 6 valence electrons. It needs another 2 electrons. So another oxygen will be there over here. It has also 6 electrons. You see, this oxygen needs 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons should be retained in front of this oxygen, and this oxygen also needs 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons of this oxygen will form bonds with this oxygen. Now you see, this is the Lewis dot structure of O2. You see, H gives 1 electron. So the other atom present in front of H must give 1 electron. You see, must give 1 electron. I have not written 7 electrons over here. I have written 1 only. In case oxygen, you see, it needs 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons are retained in front of this oxygen. And you see, these 2 electrons given to this oxygen, and these 2 electrons are also given to this oxygen. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Now you take another molecule, NH3. You see, N is present in the middle. 3H atoms are retained on 3 different sides. You know, the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, so it has 1 valence electron, it has 1 valence electron, it has 1 valence electron. And you see, all these valence electrons are pointing to the central nitrogen atom. And you know, atomic number of nitrogen is 7, and it has 5 valence electrons. So 5 means we have to put those 5 electrons as shown. You see, here 1 electron, here 1 electron, here 1 electron. Why 1 electron? Because this H has 1 electron, and this 1 electron will form a bond with this hydrogen atom, and this H has 1 electron, and it needs another 1 electron from this nitrogen. Similarly, this H needs 1 electron, so this nitrogen gives 1 electron. But you know, nitrogen has 5 electrons in its valence shell. We have already drawn 3 electrons. 3 means another 2 electrons are there, and just keep those 2 electrons above nitrogen as a pair of electron, or you can say lone pair. This is a lone pair. Now draw the Lewis dot structure of carbon monoxide. You see, carbon has 6 electrons, but there are 4 valence electrons, so just write 4 dots around carbon. And you know, oxygen has 8 electrons, but there are 6 valence electrons, so just write 6 dots. You see, this oxygen has 6 electrons. This oxygen has 6 electrons. It needs another 2 electrons. So this carbon gives 2 electrons by mutual sharing of electrons with this oxygen. Now this oxygen has 8 electrons and attains the configuration of neon. Now you see this carbon has 4 electrons and the oxygen gives 2 electrons. Now this carbon has 6 electrons. So here carbon needs another 2 electrons to attain octet. 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. So how you will get another 2 electrons from this oxygen? You see this oxygen has a pair of electron over here. This pair of electron can form a coordinate bond with this carbon. You see this pair of electron will be shifted to the middle position, or I can say just rob these 2 electrons from this position and write those two electrons over here and rob so here there is a coordinate bond between oxygen and carbon. You see C has these 2 electrons should be written like this, and this pair will be shifted to this position. So let me rub these 2 electrons in the circle and the arrow mark, then put those dots over here. This is a coordinate bond for your information. Now it has how many electrons? You see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and oxygen has 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then draw the Lewis dot structure of carbonate CO3 2 minus. You see it has 1 carbon, 1 oxygen having no charge, O minus. Carbon atomic number is 6, means 4 valence electrons. Oxygen atomic number 8 means 6 valence electrons. O minus means 2 6 plus 1 electron, minus means 1 electron extra. So it has 7 valence electrons. That is important. This oxygen minus has also this O minus has also 7 valence electrons. Means we should write carbon with 4 dots. Oxygen, this oxygen has 6 dots. This oxygen has 7 dots. This oxygen has 7 dots. Now we have to draw the Lewis dot structure. Keep carbon in the middle and this O at the top, then this O over here, this is O minus, then this O minus is over here. So one thing you have to remember, O minus means how many valence electrons? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 7 means it needs another 1 electron. You see it needs another 1 electron. Which atom will provide 1 electron? This carbon will provide 1 electron. This carbon will provide 1 electron. How? You see it will give 1 electron. Then you know carbon has 4 valence electrons, already 1 electron I have written. Then second O minus, this O minus, it has also 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. It needs another 1 electron, so I have to put one more dot over here. This is the electron of this carbon. This is the electron of this carbon. Now you see, this oxygen minus has 8 electrons. 7 plus this electron of carbon makes it 8. If you have any doubt, please ask me. And this O minus has 7 and this electron of carbon makes it 8. So these two oxygen atoms attain octet, means the configuration of nearest inert gas, that is neon. That is neon. I have told earlier, carbon has how many valence electrons? 4. Already I have written 2 electrons. So another 2 electrons are there. Another 2 electrons are there. You see, you just write over here. And one thing you remember, this carbon has now how many electrons? 1 electron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 given by this oxygen, 6 given by this oxygen, so carbon has now 6 electrons. Now it needs another 2 electron to attain octet. So which oxygen will provide 2 electrons? The oxygen present at the top. The oxygen present at the top will provide. The oxygen present at the top will provide 2 electrons. And you know oxygen has 6 valence electrons. How? I have just told 2 6 means it has 6 valence electrons. So let us write those 6 valence electrons around oxygen. You have to face 2 electrons to this carbon. Why? Because this carbon needs 2 electrons and this oxygen can provide 2 electrons. So those 2 electrons will be shown towards carbon, towards carbon, towards carbon. Now oxygen has 6 valence electrons, already written 2. Another 4 will be written like this. Now you see, the carbon has 8 electrons. Carbon has how many electrons? 8. Carbon has how many electrons? 8. You see, I am just showing by red color. 1, 2, 3, 4, you see 4 dots. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So carbon attains octet. Now the oxygen present above carbon also attain octet. How? You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8. These 2 electrons. These 2 electrons are also considered. Let me rub the tick marks so that it will be easy for you to count. And this oxygen has 8 electrons. This is for carbonate. Now take another example, NH4 plus. You see N is at the center and it has 4 H atoms. One of them is H plus and another 3 are H dot, H dot, H dot, means they have 1 electron. H plus has no electron. H plus has no electron. For your information, H plus has no electron and each other H atom have 1 electron. But H plus has no electron. Why? H plus means 1 electron is removed from H atom. And put H plus over here, H, 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 and you know each H has one valence electron except H plus. H plus has no electron. And you remember a trick: if H has one electron showing its face towards nitrogen, nitrogen should also keep one electron over here towards H. If you will show me one finger, I will show you one finger. If you will show me two fingers, I will show you two fingers. Remember it. So H is showing one electron to nitrogen. H is showing one electron to nitrogen. And N also show one electron to hydrogen. Let me rub these arrows. Similarly, you see here there is one electron, so N will show one electron to H. Here also one electron. Why? H has one electron. Now you see N has 3 electrons, but you know N has 5 valence electrons in its outermost shell. I have already written 3 electrons, so another 2 electrons will be written over here. Now you see nitrogen has 5 electrons. Nitrogen has how many electrons? 5 electrons. Okay. Then this H with this electron of nitrogen forms a bond with nitrogen, and H attains the configuration of helium, that is duplet. Now this H will form a bond with nitrogen and H attains the configuration of helium. Same story over here. Now you see nitrogen has how many electrons? Just encircle the electrons around nitrogen. Nitrogen has 5 electrons. Nitrogen has 5 electrons and another 3 electrons from 3 hydrogen atoms. 5 plus 3, how much? 8. So nitrogen also attained octet. Nitrogen has also attained octet. Nitrogen has also attained octet. But this H plus has no electron, but it needs 2 electrons to attain duplet. So this pair of electron of this nitrogen is given to H plus to attain duplet. Let me rub this arrow mark. Now this hydrogen plus has also this hydrogen plus has 2 electrons, and the nitrogen atom at the center has 8 electrons, attains octet, the configuration of neon. And for information, for a single bond there are 2 electrons. Suppose A is there, B is there, A will give 1 electron, B will give 1 electron, a single bond can be formed. If there is a double bond, definitely each atom will contribute 2 electrons and a double bond is formed. If there is a triple bond, each atom contributes 3 electrons to form a triple bond. O2 minus means O plus 2 electrons. N3 minus means N plus 3 electron. But there are certain cases where octet or duplet are not attained, but compounds are formed. In AlCl3, you see in AlCl3, atomic number Al is 13 and the atomic number of chlorine is 17. It has 3 valence electrons, it has 7 valence electrons, that you know earlier. So Al is present at the middle and 3 chlorine atoms are present around aluminum. You see, aluminum has 3 electrons and marked as shown. chlorine has 7 electrons. You see, as chlorine needs 1 electron, it should show 1 electron, and aluminum show 1 electron to chlorine. I told you earlier, if you will show me 1 finger, I will show you 1 finger. Similarly, here a bond is formed. Then over here a bond is formed. So now AlCl3 is formed. You see, chlorine has 7 electrons. Chlorine has 7 electrons, and with this electron of aluminum attend octet. This chlorine has 7 electrons, and 1 electron from aluminum attend octet. This chlorine has 7 electrons in its valence shell, with this electron of aluminum attend octet. But aluminum has 3 electrons around it, and these 3 electrons from 3 chlorine atoms make 6, not 8. So aluminum has 6 valence electrons in its outermost shell, so it has not attained the octet, but aluminum chloride is formed. It has 6 electrons after formation of AlCl3, not valence. Aluminum has 3 valence electrons, and 3 electrons from 3 chlorine atoms make it 6, not 8. So aluminum chloride is electron deficient. Why? It has not attained octet. It has 6 electrons in its outermost shell after formation of AlCl3. Similarly, ammonia. I have already discussed about ammonia. N has 2 electrons, so I can say this one as electron rich. This pair of electron makes ammonia electron rich. Electron rich means it is a base. Electron deficient means it is an acid. AlCl3 is a Lewis acid. AlCl3 is a Lewis acid, and this is a Lewis base. Between ammonia and AlCl3, a coordinate bond can be formed. How? You see, it has a pair of electrons, and it has 2 electrons short to attain octet. So what happens? This pair can form a coordinate bond with AlCl3. You see, this is a Lewis base, this is a Lewis acid. And what is known as coordinate bond? A pair of electrons donated by one atom but shared by both donor and acceptor atom. A pair of electrons donated by A and shared by both donor and acceptor. Here A is the donor, B is the acceptor. Here N is the donor, L is the acceptor. So a coordinate bond is formed between A and B. If donor is D, acceptor is A, donor has a pair of electron extra, and A has 2 electrons short from its nearest inert gas configuration. This D can give a pair of electron to A to attain octet or duplet. So here donor D and A is the acceptor. Hope this video will help you a lot. Thank you.